announcing one new trial is interesting, and that's news. When you're announcing 5 trials and some 100,000 expected participants, that's definitely news, and it's really interesting. We're at ACC 13, and I am with Troy C. Sarich, who is PhD and Vice President of Compound Development Team Leader at Janssen. This is kind of interesting. I really like this. You've got 5 that you're announcing here. What are they, first off, and what are you looking at?
Thank you. It is exciting. We're looking at 2 new indications. The first is in patients with congestive heart failure with a history of coronary artery disease. And what we're looking at is these patients often face hospitalization, and the event rate in these patients, once they're released from the hospital, is quite astounding. It's upwards of 20% in a year. And this is death, this is myocardial infarctions and strokes. So we're looking with Xarelto 2.5 milligrams BID to try to reduce those events. And it's about 5,000 patients, international trial. We're very excited. We think we can have a very important advantage in these patients. It's a big unmet need.
Now, rivaroxaban is already one of the most studied drugs, so what else is going on in this series of trials with rivaroxaban?
That's right, and in fact, we have 6 approved uses at this time in the United States, and we're hoping that this will add to those. The other major trial is called COMPASS. It's 20,000 patients. It's the biggest of our future trials. It's looking at a late ACS population. So patients who have acute coronary syndrome receive dual antiplatelet therapy anywhere from 6 to 12 months. At the end of that, they're still at risk of major cardiovascular adverse events. And so we're going to look at Xarelto 2.5 milligrams BID plus aspirin versus aspirin. And then something novel, we're dropping aspirin in the third arm and looking at Xarelto 5 mg BID to see if oral anticoagulation alone can be as good or better than aspirin. These patients will be followed for several years, and we're hoping in the end we'll show that Xarelto with aspirin or even without is beneficial in this patient population. It's a big unmet medical need.
Now, the announcement has just been made. Where are we going in terms of a calendar?
This is going to take years to fulfill. What we've heard from the physicians who've been using Xarelto is that they like what they see, they'd like more data, and we're rolling that out from our completed trials. Remember, we've had 10 phase 3 trials already completed on this program.
Correct.
So we're completing even more now. The 3 other studies that make up the Explorer program are Pioneer, which is looking at AFib patients who undergo PCI. It's a challenging population that we've heard back from many clinicians that they'd like to have more data on. So we're going to study Xarelto in that population. We're also going to look at Venture AF, which is a study in patients undergoing ablation, to see how Xarelto performs in those patients. And lastly, looking at a trial called XVERT in patients undergoing cardioversion. These are important areas that we want to generate additional information to give physicians even more comfort using Xarelto.
Is there anything else? Quite a list you got there.
It is a big list, and as you said, in the end, it'll be over 100,000 patients in our program. We've heard great feedback on the use of our drug. I can say that as a scientist and with our team of clinicians and experts, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing the drug being used as widely as it is today. In 2012, there were over 1 million prescriptions of Xarelto in the United States. And it excites us to see that it's being used so widely and adopted so well this early after launch. And we're committed to continue to invest to know more about Xarelto, meet more unmet medical needs for the patient population, and continue to help doctors understand best how to use the drug.
Right. And this announcement came during ACC 13, so please make sure you tune in for a variety of more studies and trials and research that's being presented here in San Francisco. For CardioSource World News, I'm Rick McGuire.